Today I want to share with you the 10 best bargains that I found at Aldi's when I went shopping there yesterday. You're going to be surprised at what you can find there. I saw so many new things and I can't wait to share them with you. Hi sweet friends! If we're meeting for the first time, I'm Mary from Mary's Nest, an author of the Modern Pioneer Cookbook and the Modern Pioneer Pantry, and I'd like to welcome you to my kitchen. Now the 10 things that I want to share with you that I bought yesterday are all cold things. These are things you can put in your fridge or your freezer. But at the end, I want to share with you a couple of things that I picked up that are great for the pantry or your extended pantry, you know, what we nickname the prepper pantry, that I felt the prices were a little lower than the last time I was up there. So I'll show you those at the end, but I want to concentrate on all the new things that I found yesterday. And this, I was so excited to see. This is a beef skirt steak. This is great for making fajitas, but best of all, this is grass-fed beef. I mean, this is perfect for our traditional foods kitchens. And this was $6.99 a pound, and this came to a total price of $11.18. So it's 1.6 pounds. I was just thrilled with this. Now this is all sort of in the number one category because these are all beef things, and so I'm just kind of keeping them all together. You know me, sometimes I say one thing, but there's usually a category associated with it. But again, the same type, grass-fed beef. These are New York strip steaks, and it's grass-fed beef. What got me is these are such beautiful, nice sizes, some good fat along the edge. You know, we love that in our traditional foods kitchens. But this was $11.99 a pound, and this was 1.47 pounds. And the total price was $17.63. Now, this is not an everyday thing in our kitchen. It's rare when we have a New York strip. But for $17.63, I got two. So this is perfect for me and my husband, Ted. And you can't go out to eat for this price because what's a little more than $8 each? I mean, have you gone to a restaurant and seen a steak? $35, $45, it's ridiculous. But here we've got two lovely little New York strips. Cook these up, perfect size, and it's going to be delicious. So I feel that this is the type of thing, grass-fed beef, you find this, you stick this in your freezer, and when you have a special occasion, maybe an anniversary dinner or a birthday dinner, you bring these out. For the price, you can't go wrong. Now these I have seen before. I hadn't seen that before, and basically what I want to tell you is it just says meat from Aldi, grass-fed beef. It's just something new. I had not seen that before. Now, organic, Simply Nature, I have seen this. This sort of Simply Nature seems to be kind of their brand. These are both ground beef, 100% grass-fed ground beef, and this is the 85% lean, 15% fat. I like this for hamburgers. It keeps them nice and moist. And then this is the 93% lean, 7% fat. This is good, you know, if I'm sauteing up something where the beef is going to be distributed, you know, through tomatoes or liquid like a soup or a spaghetti sauce, something like that. The 93% lean is great. So again, I got to get you the price on those. One was, I thought it was kind of funny because I think the one with the fat is less expensive, but I always feel that should be more expensive because the beef fat is a good source of nutrition. But this was sort of like in the $5.99, and I'll show pictures, and then the lean one was in the $6.99 range. But often if I look at the grocery store, ground beef that's grass-fed like this, 100% grass-fed, is going to be a little more on the pricey side. So I felt that was a good buy. Now this I was very happy to find. This is a butterflied lamb leg, or a leg of lamb. And what I thought was very interesting, this was something I had never seen before. Now, when we were talking about the ground beef, now lamb I put as number 2. I put this in a separate category since everything I showed you under quote-unquote number 1 was beef. But Simply Nature and their organic, this I've seen a lot there. But this I thought was interesting. It says never any. And I had not seen this brand at Aldi's before. And this says lamb raised with no antibiotics, no added hormones, and vegetarian fed. And this is a product of Australia. And this whole butterflied leg of lamb came to $20.83. Now, this was $6.99 a pound, and this was 2.98 pounds, so almost 3 pounds. And it's just a beautiful leg of lamb. And I think for the price, we don't eat lamb a lot because it does tend to be expensive, but I thought that this was a very good price for a butterflied leg of lamb. And we don't eat it a lot because my son Ben and I love it, but my husband's not a huge fan of it. But I want to say something about that. Unfortunately, a lot of the recipes that we see today online always talk about cooking a leg of lamb. Now, for lamb chops, I totally get medium rare and medium. But for a leg of lamb, I really like to look to how our ancestors cooked this the traditional way. And a lot of the recipes you'll see today online will talk about cooking this at like 350 for maybe 50 minutes to medium rare, or at most maybe medium. And if people don't like lamb and you serve a leg of lamb and it's medium rare or medium, they might, say, oh, it's very pink and it's a strong flavor and this, that, and the other thing. What I recommend is look to how our ancestors cook this. Low and slow. They took a leg of lamb. Now, granted, yes, I know you might be saying, oh yeah, but it was mutton, it was old lamb, and so they had to cook it low and slow. And that's true. A lot of the lamb we get today is young lambs. But I think when it comes to a leg of lamb, and whether it's a whole leg of lamb, bone-in, which is my favorite, that's hard to find today, or it's butterflied like this, I highly recommend that you cook this at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for about 3 hours. And then it'll be medium well. And people will like it. And if you've never had lamb before or you think you don't like lamb, I highly recommend you try doing it like this, and I think you might like it. And you cook it fat side up, and that fat is going to keep it nice and moist, even at being cooked to a more doneness than a medium rare or a medium. And you're going to take fresh garlic, salt, black pepper, a lot of herbs de Provence, some olive oil, and really mash it into a good paste. And then you're going to rub it all over, and you're going to bake this on a baking sheet for about 3 hours, as I said, at 275. You're going to be so happy with the final product. That's the way our ancestors did it, and it's going to be delicious. And if I get around to it, hopefully I can make a video showing you how I like to do it, what I just explained. But if not, I'll definitely share the recipe at some point on my website. But what I just shared with you is basically what you do. And I think that you're really going to like it. So yes, it is $20.83, but it's almost 3 pounds. I think it's $6.99 a pound. This was a good buy, and it's raised well. And I think this can really serve a good amount of people. Now, number 3, this is organic, and it's part of their Simply Nature line. And this was something my husband spied and put in the cart: mild sweet Italian chicken sausage. And so he loves whenever we can find anything like a chicken sausage or a turkey sausage. So he was very happy to see this. And this was $4.19, which for organic, I felt was a pretty good price. And chicken sausage, at least at my local grocery store, to find an Italian variety, that's a little harder. And so I thought this was great. Now, we've not had this, so if you've had it, let me know in the comments below what you thought. But once we do try this, I'll give you my opinion on it, but I thought for $4.19, I've got 5 sausage in here, and they are chicken sausage, so I said I'll give it a try. Now these are also organic, and this is Simply Nature, that brand that is pretty common there at Aldi's. And these are uncured beef hot dogs, no nitrates or nitrites added. And these were $4.29. And it says made with 100% grass-fed beef. So we've had these before, and I find them very nice. So I thought for $4.29, and I've got 5 hot dogs, just like with the other, I had 5 sausage. And so for $4.29, grass-fed hot dogs, uncured beef, I felt it was worth it. Now this next one, I thought this was a really good buy. This was $4.99. And this is also part of that Never Any line, the same as the lamb. And it's bacon, and it's hickory smoked, it's uncured, it's a product of Canada, and the porks, the pigs, pork raised with no antibiotics, no hormones, and a vegetarian diet. But what I thought was really interesting about this, and this is a little nod to my sweet friends out there who like to do the keto and the carnivore diet, no sugar. So if you're looking for bacon that is uncured and has no sugar, this is a really good buy, because I have not seen bacon like this that's, uncured, no sugar, no hormones, the whole 9 yards, for $4.99. Usually I'll see this for $6.99 or higher, and sometimes you actually get less bacon. This has 12 ounces. Sometimes I see packages and they're only 8 ounces and they're $6.99. And I don't find it common to see no sugar bacon. Most bacon does have some kind of sweetener in it. So if you like the keto and the carnivore diets, this is the way to go. For $4.99, I think this for 12 ounces and a very relatively natural product, I think this is a good deal. Now number 6 is fish. And I was really surprised because I have never seen these at Aldi's. And I have like a smaller, we actually have to drive a fairly good distance to go to Aldi's. And our Aldi's may be a little smaller than some of the other ones out there. But I have never seen this before. This is wild caught Alaskan sockeye salmon. And it's a beautiful piece. And actually, I don't know if you can see, but they're almost like folded in on each other. There's actually like 2 pieces here. And this is $12.99 a pound. And this is 1 pound, 1.52 pounds. So, about 1.5 pounds. And it was $19.74. Now, salmon is expensive, but I thought for this, for 1.5 pounds, $20, this will easily feed both my husband and I. And it's wild caught Alaskan, and we like sockeye salmon. So I've had Alaskan salmon before. I've not seen this at Aldi before, but I figured it's worth a try. And it looks beautiful, so fresh and beautiful, a beautiful color to it. So I'll see, I'll keep you posted. The other one I found that I have not seen this type of fish in a really long time anywhere, and it's steelhead trout. This was $10.49 a pound, and the salmon was $12.99 a pound, so a little less per pound. And this, it's fresh, never frozen. And so, I can put this in the freezer and then we can enjoy it when we're ready. And this piece, and it's not a huge piece, but what's the pounds? It's 7.76 pounds, so a little under a pound, 3/4 of a pound. And it was $7.97. But for steelhead trout, it's very nutritious. Similar, doesn't it look like salmon? And it's similar in nutrition to salmon. So I thought, what the heck? We'll cut this in half. We'll have it with some nice sides, a nice salad, and this will be a lovely dinner. And for $7.99, and we're really trying to eat more fish and eat more along the lines of the Mediterranean diet. So, and you can't say, I don't know if you can see, maybe on the back because the label's in the way, but it goes all the ways to here. And so you cut this in half. This is a nice portion for 2 people. It's $7.97. You know, as I said, we're trying to eat more along the lines of the Mediterranean diet, getting a little more fish. We love canned fish, and we like salmon, and I want to get some whitefish. I used to make a beautiful petro sole and things like that, and I just sort of fell out of the habit of buying these things. But I really want to get back to getting more fish on a regular basis into our diet. You know me, I could roast a chicken every day if my family would eat it. But they love it, and they love roast chicken, you know, and we usually will have it, you know, like once a week. But I really want to get back to having more fish in our diet, whether it's the small canned fish. You know, we love kippers and sardines and mackerel and things like that. But I also want to do fresh fish like this, more salmon, steelhead trout if I can find it on a regular basis, and then some of the soles and fillet of sole, trout, things like that. But I felt these 2 fish. I felt this was a good deal, and I hadn't seen them before at Aldi's, and I was very happy to find them. Now, this is something I've bought at Aldi's before, and this was $4.39. Now, we'll talk about that price in a minute, but this is the vintage Irish cheddar cheese. I really like this. It's a nice, tangy, or I guess you would say sharp cheddar, and it's made from grass-fed, or the milk from grass-fed cows, and it's imported from Ireland. And now, on the price, can you get a big block of these Irish cheddars, you know, at places like Costco? Yes, and I've bought those in the past. And when our son was still living at home with us, he has his own house now, I could go through things like that more quickly. But what I find now that I'll have to do if I buy one of those larger blocks, which are a very good price at Costco, I'll have to put some in the fridge that we're going to enjoy, you know, like on crackers. I'll have to grate some and toss it and put it in storage bags and freeze it. And everything always, when you defrost it, always has slightly different texture. So it's not as useful to me. And I find that just buying a nice piece like this, we can really enjoy this. We can enjoy some on crackers. I can grate some on a salad, and it's just enough. And it's a delicious cheese. I'm very happy with this one. They have 3 types. I think they have a mild, maybe a sharp, and then this vintage one, which I would classify as maybe like an extra sharp. So, you know, for the price, I feel it's a good quality cheese. Cheese can be expensive, even at our local grocery store. At Whole Foods, it can be very expensive. And so I recommend this. I think it's a good product. And if you're a small family or just empty nesters like us, this is perfect. And number 8 is butter. You know I love having a lot of butter in my pantry, specifically in my freezer. I always make the joke that, you know, everybody feels better when they have like 9 pounds of butter in their freezer. But this is Countryside Creamery, pure Irish butter, made with milk from grass-fed cows. And this is a good buy. This is 8 ounces, and at my Aldi, this is $3.69. So for me, we're shopping for Kerrygold, which I'll also buy that. This is less expensive. And to be honest with you, I find them basically indistinguishable. So whenever I am up at Aldi's, I like picking up a few of these. I'll put some in my freezer, and then I'll just have one, you know, in my refrigerator. Now this one is salted, and that's the only one that I have seen at my Aldi, but I don't mind that because I do buy both salted and unsalted butter. I buy the Kerrygold in the unsalted, and I also have a wonderful butter that I like that I buy whenever we go to Central Market, which is a smaller type grocery store that's owned by our local H-E-B. If you're in Texas, you know the H-E-B grocery store, which are beautiful, big fantastic grocery stores. And Central Market's kind of a smaller version. And sometimes they have some nice little gourmet things. It's nice to shop there at holiday time. And sometimes they have a New Zealand butter there on sale, and I'll pick up some of that. But I like this being salted because it's perfect for toast. So for under $4, you can't go wrong. Now this again is their Simply Nature line. These are organic, cage-free eggs, and they're grade A large brown eggs. And they were $4.39. I thought that was a good buy for organic eggs. They look great. And now I've never had these before. I often buy the Vital Choice, was it Vital Farms? I think, yeah, Vital Farms eggs, which I love those. The yolks are so almost orange. And I just buy the regular ones. I've tried the organic ones, but it's interesting. The yolks are not as orange. But, you know, I guess maybe because they have to control a little more what the feed maybe that the chickens are eating. I'm not 100% sure. But I love those Vital Farm eggs. But I saw these organic, cage-free. They're Simply Nature brand. I've had good luck with their Simply Nature brand in the past. And for the price, I couldn't resist. So I picked up a dozen. I'll let you know what I think. Now I still have some of the non-perishable items. I've got them in a shopping bag over here on the floor that I want to show you that are perfect for the working pantry or the extended pantry. And I feel I got some really good buys. But number 10 of the things for the refrigerator, and some of these, you know, are for the freezer too. But I thought this was such a good buy. This is a spring mix and it's organic. And again, it's their Simply Nature line. It's a mix of baby lettuces, greens, and radicchio. And I really like radicchio, you know, it's sort of a red and white in the lettuce family. But this was $4.99. I've never seen anything like this for under $6.99. And this is 16 ounces. It's a full pound. So I recommend this. Organic greens, $4.99, and they look beautiful. And I really like the combination that they have. I'm going to see if they list, I'll tell you specifically in their spring mix. They've got green, it's all organic, you know, as it says. They've got green leaf lettuce, Mizuna, tango, oak leaf, chard, baby spinach, arugula, frisee, red leaf lettuce, Lola Rose, I think it says, and then the radicchio, baby butter lettuce, kale. So, I mean, it's a wonderful mix. It's really healthy. And, you know, you can do this for a salad, or if you like, something that I often do is if I feel, you know, I've maybe stocked up on a few too many of these and I don't want them to get past their prime, I'll cook this as a green. And you just cook this right up in your frying pan, and you can just, you know, they say washed, but I always wash my greens in addition to what, even though they might say triple washed. And I don't feel bad about doing that because I once saw Jacques Pepin talking about his wife when she was alive and how even though the greens said triple washed, she washed them again herself. And so just with the water clinging on them, I'll just put them in the frying pan and let them wilt down. And then I'll just pour a little melted butter on top, a squeeze of lemon or a splash of raw apple cider vinegar. They're delicious. So you can use them as a salad or as a side. And for $4.99, this is terrific because if you've ever cooked greens, you know they're going to cook down. And once a pound is cooked, it's not like a boatload of greens. And so you get a couple of these for the money. You got a salad, you got a side dish. I think for $4.99, this is great. You'll have to let me know if you find this less expensive at your grocery store. But I was so happy when I saw this. Now, I just want to go over these non-perishable things that I've got over here on the counter that are great for the working pantry, you know, as well as our extended pantry. But I just wanted to mention that I will have a blog post that'll correspond with this video, and I'll have the link to the blog post in the description below. And in that blog post, I'll have more information about everything I found and link to some recipes, as well as link to other videos I've made about Aldi hauls. Now I picked up a couple of cans of beans. I've got black beans and dark red kidney beans, as well as pinto beans. They're all organic and they were only 99 cents a can. These are the kinds of things that, although I buy a lot of dried beans and I soak them, and I'm happy to do that, it's just having them, as I've shared with you in the past, multiple streams of food. We can have our dried beans, but it's also nice to have canned beans. What if you're not feeling good? What if you forgot to soak beans and you want to make something, a recipe for dinner with beans? You've got your canned beans, and they're handy. And at 99 cents a can, yes, if they're dried and you soak them, it's going to be a lot less than that. But again, the multiple streams of food, convenience, and always being prepared no matter what comes your way. And so I always, whenever I go to Aldi's, or like Walmart, not so much with Costco because you're buying more in bulk, but if I'm at Aldi's or Walmart, I try to just pick up 1 or 2, maybe 3 cans of something, just to restock my pantry, or restock my my working pantry right here in my kitchen, or my extended pantry, just to have a little backup, especially when I can find something, that is organic and is a good buy. And you know me, I'm not a stickler about organic. It's just that my grocery store is always moving more and more to carry, my local grocery store, H-E-B, carrying more and more organic things and making them affordable. And I feel like Aldi's trying to do that too with this Simply Nature brand. A lot of this stuff is organic and reasonably priced. But again, buy what's in your budget. Have multiple streams of food. Have your dry beans, but also have your canned beans so they're ready to go for you. But something that I wanted to share with you that I thought was really a good buy, and this was actually less expensive than I've seen it in the past, but I bought, this is wild Alaskan pink salmon. And this is 14.75 ounces, not quite a pound, but these make great crab cakes. Isn't that funny? I always think of crab cakes. I'd like some crab cakes, but salmon cakes or salmon patties, these are great. And I really feel that the salmon patty recipe that I share with you, and I'll be sure to link to that in the blog post, it's so easy to make and so flavorful. And I think people are really going to enjoy them. And for, did I tell you the price? $2.99. So you could buy a couple of cans depending on how many mouths you have to feed. $2.99. I just, that's just a beautiful price, because not that long ago, not at Aldi's, I think maybe I've seen it $3.99, $4.99, something like that in the past. But at my local grocery store, the wild caught pink salmon in a can, I don't know, it was one of the name brand ones, was $7.99. That's a lot. And so, and look at that steelhead trout, which is similar to salmon, was $7.97. So at $2.99, stock up on these. Get some into your pantry and into your extended pantry. Let me see what the, this is good till January 2029. So you can't go wrong. And that I just thought was, I was like so happy when I saw that and saw the price. And then the organic pasta, that's what I've got right here, that was $1.49. Now, I generally, when I buy pasta, I don't really worry organic or non-organic, but for $1.49, this was organic, and it's durum semolina. It's their Simply Nature one again. I've bought this before, and it seems fine, and I felt the price was good. So that was great. But something else that I thought was very interesting, I have never tried this before, but lentils are very good for you. And I love lentils. I love lentil soup, lentil salads. Lentils prepared anyway I find delicious. But this really gave me a chuckle. This is red lentil penne, and the other one is red lentil rotini. 15 grams of protein per serving. Rich in protein, rich in fiber. And it's their Simply Nature brand, and it's organic. And I've got to tell you, I have never had pasta made from lentils before. I've seen people making pasta from chickpeas, but this really, and I've not tried it, but I've seen it. But red lentil, this is it, organic red lentil flour. That's it. That's the ingredient. So I'm going to try this. You have to let me know. Have you tried this? And I'll report back to you on that. But it was $2.99 a box. So for organic pasta, and one's made from red lentil flour. But I don't know if the picture is deceiving or not. I'll let you know. But it looks like nice pasta. So we'll see how the taste is. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention that I picked up was this. Now, I don't know if this is at all the Aldis or just because I'm in Texas. You know, we have, I get a kick out of it, olive ranches. We have olive ranches here in Texas. We've got two right near us. And then they've got in Central Texas here in the Texas Hill Country. And then I think one sort of down in South Texas. But this is family grown. It's from the Texas Olive Ranch. This was $7.99. And it's Texas olive oil, you know, so, you know, sometimes you got to be careful. It's kind of nice to know the source of where your olive oil is coming from, because unfortunately, and I think I've shared this with you before, olive oil and avocado oil sometimes are sold by people who are not being above board, and they're cutting the oil with cheaper seed oils. That's the last thing we want in our traditional foods kitchen. So knowing the sources of where your oil is coming from can be very good. Now, Texas Olive Ranch has a whole variety of olive oils. They sell them at our grocery store. At Aldi's, I've just seen this one, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Arbequina, and it's described as fresh and buttery. This is the type of olive oil. You can use this to saute food. You can use, this is like an everyday olive oil. You can saute with this. You can use this to make a salad dressing. It's got a mild flavor, but you can also use this to bake with. These are the varieties that, I'm not sure, this might be a Spanish variety. I'm not this particular olive, I'm not 100% sure. But when you see recipes, you see like a lot of Northern Italian recipes for different like olive oil cake and things like that. It's generally a buttery olive oil like this that they're using to bake with. And so if you like the idea of baking with olive oil, this is a great olive oil to use. You know, when you see fresh, it's fresh and buttery. And $7.99, I don't know if this is in other parts of the country, but I buy this olive oil all the time. I buy it at my local grocery store. I send this as gifts to people at holiday time, different types of Texas olive oil. So keep an eye out for this. And you have to let me know if you live in other parts of the country here in the U.S. if you see this at your Aldi. And I just want to mention, if you like refried beans, they have the traditional refried beans at Aldi's. And these are really, when they say traditional, they're not kidding, because they're made with lard. And that is so nice to see, you know, especially, as I say, for our traditional foods kitchens, that they're not made with the seed oils that are problematic. It's still made with lard, so you can't go wrong. And these are the little pickles, the Cornichons. And these are actually with chili, and my husband spied these, and we love these. And this was only, I know only for pickles, it sounds kind of funny, but they were only $2.69. And that is a good buy, because these are actually expensive at our grocery store. I guess they're just kind of considered gourmet. But I've shared with you in the past, if you've been with me a while, you know, my son, when he was a little boy, we would grow cornichons. And they're easy to grow, and I highly recommend growing them along with the patty pan squash that looks like a sunburst, like, as my son would say, looked like a little yellow spaceship. It's fun to grow things like this that kids like and think are cute, and these are perfect for little hands when they're picking them. And so we really enjoy these. I can grow them, I can pickle them, but again, you know, talking about multiple streams of food, having some in a jar like this is very nice, and it's the right price, because the Cornichons for about the same jar size at our grocery store, which we usually tend to see around holiday time, are $7.99. Now, maybe they're imported from France, I'm not 100% sure, but that's a lot of money for pickles. Now, I wanted to share this with you because, yes, in the thinking along the lines of multiple streams of food, this is a raw apple cider vinegar. Now, I think apple cider vinegars are expensive, but this was a little less expensive than my grocery store. This was $5.69 at Aldi, but, and again, like I said, multiple streams of food. You can put this in your extended pantry and have it as a backup. But generally what I recommend is during the fall, when maybe you're cooking with a lot of apples and you're peeling apples, just save the skins and save the cores, just take the seeds out. Make what I call apple scrap vinegar. It's a raw apple scrap vinegar. But I'm of the school of thought that why take, unless you have a big apple orchard, why take good quality apple cider and turn it into vinegar? Why not instead take apple scraps and just ferment them and make your own, in essence, apple cider vinegar? Is it technically 100% apple cider vinegar? No, it's apple scrap vinegar, but it's raw and you're not going to be able to tell the difference. It's very similar and it's rich in probiotics, and I show you how to make that here on YouTube. I have the recipe over on my website. Definitely save your apple scraps and make your apple cider vinegar, your raw apple scrap vinegar, because as you see, this is, I feel this is a little expensive. Now, less than I've seen it at other grocery stores, but even so, with scraps, you can make it for like 50 cents. So keep that in mind. Now, if you'd like more videos showing you where I've shopped to stock my pantry, my Four Corners pantry, my working pantry, my fridge, my freezer, and my extended or prepper pantry, be sure to click on this video over here where I take you to Aldi and Walmart and Costco and Sam's and all over town, all over Austin, and to show you the different good buys that I get and the foods I like to stock. And I look forward to seeing you over there in my Texas Hill Country kitchen. Love and God bless.